that what we discussed was the basics of ZBrush. We opened the program, we saw and learned a few things. I did a little sculpt for you guys. Let me open up my ZBrush while I'm gabbing about it. But yeah, we got through the basics, and this week you guys are gonna start the classwork, which is essentially like a bust, which is what I did last week. You're gonna start doing your own version of one, right? You find a character or something online, right? You're only making the top part of them, right? So when I say bust, I mean this and like this, right? A bust. That's what we're working on, right? Usually it goes all the way down here, right? Or, like cutting shoulder, like, that's usually a bust. But yeah, that's what you guys are going to be working on, a simple version for class. So I don't want to hold you guys up too much. I'm going to continue the one I was working on last class, and let me see if I can even find it. I don't even know if it's here anymore. Let me see if I can locate our guy from last class, because I'm pretty sure my computer crashed and I lost Demo Soldier. Well, it could be Dinosphere. No. All right. So something like this, where it's just, you know, you don't have to go as far as I showed, but this is a bust. So you guys are responsible for one, today. It doesn't have to be something you spend 5, 6 hours on, right? It just needs to be something. It's almost like you're doing it like a sketch, right? So an hour, 45 minutes, maybe put on a timer, right? Put on a timer for yourself, and then just start going bananas. Sculpt a a bust of something, a head of something you like. So what I usually do is, if I want to find some kind of cool character or something like that, um, I don't know if you guys know about ArtStation, but ArtStation is the place to go usually a lot of the times for really, really cool concept art, 3D art. If you guys don't have a page on here, you should get a page if you're really serious about doing this. If you're not serious, I wouldn't advise it. But if you're serious about digital art, creating 3D and things like that, you need to not only just kind of live here, but you need to have a presence on here, so you're getting feedback, so you're being able to critique people, and people are giving you critique, and you're kind of exchanging um, ideas there. So this is where I would usually go, and you can see like something like this is fine. Like these are, you can tell that these are gestural kind of sculpts. They're trying to learn something, right? And that's what I want you guys to do. It's not about nailing every little detail or nailing every strand of hair. It's about getting the general gestures, the general features of the face out, right? And that's what we're gonna try to do today. So what you guys are gonna do is, you guys are just gonna find um, a character, you know, just a bust of a character that you like. It could be a real, fictional, it could be anything, right? Like, you're just practicing and you're using it as reference. So it doesn't have to be one for one the character you're looking at, but it can be like a facsimile. It could be like, all right, I'm using this character for inspiration, right? So that's where I'm getting at with this kind of class assignment. So um, I will show you kind of what I mean. So let me see if I go to, let's go maybe stylized. Um, Let's do character. Okay. So I just want to find a character, and this guy's super cool looking. Oh, it's like a Joker. Oh, that's crazy. See, it's always so cool to look at these and be like, yo, when am I gonna get here? You know, like, but it just takes time and practice. I promise y'all. Like, you do it enough, and this looks so good. It just looks so good. But yeah, so middle mouse click. I'm gonna just open a couple of these that I'm interested in. See, this is what I'm talking about. Where like these these guys are so professional at it that they do it with like it looks pretty close. It looks it looks pretty close to Christopher Lloyd. Like it's getting in that they call it uncanny. Like there's this uncanny valley that we're gonna get to with 3D and 2D animation where it's gonna be hard for us to tell what the difference is between a real person and even with the advent of AI and stuff now, you guys can already tell like it's not the best. Like you can tell, I don't know. I feel like younger people can look at AI and be like, "Oh, that's AI generated." But like the further we get into this technology, the harder it is to tell if something is fake, 3D, AI generated. Like we're starting to blur those lines so much that the future is so interesting for what we can do. And as you guys can see, like this, this guy did a masterful job at this portrait. And he took it step by step. You start with the basic features, then you start adding on to it. And these images are good because what they do is they show you, hey, this is how wrinkles can form. This is where the wrinkles form on the top of the brow, the eye, like the bags under the eye, how this artist is taking and expressing these folds in the eyes and different things like that, the mouth corners. And, these are things that when I'm looking at this stuff, I'm studying. I'm like, okay, these are the kind of pores. He's using, bigger hold pores, thicker pores for the cheek skin than he's using for the forehead skin, right? Like these are the things that artists think about is the skin on the bottom of your chin is different than the skin on the top of the forehead, right? And what sells the believability, what sells the realism of this stuff is that when we zoom in, the appropriate textures are in the appropriate places. And this is just a master. He's even got, skin blemishes and zits and things like that that take the character from a basic sculpt and brings life into it. All right. And things like this are just the same. So, see, you know what? This guy just gave me the greatest idea. Instead of just picking a random character, you are also allowed to just take a photo of yourself and then try to sculpt yourself. So this guy just gave me the best idea. He put himself in the game, which is freaking awesome. Like, I don't know if this is, I don't know. This is part of what you do it for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't tell you how many covers of stuff I've been on as like a background character. I've been a zombie in like a cover for something, like when you're in this, like when I was working at Picture Plane, there would be so many projects that would come across our desk that it would require like live action people, So that's what we did. We would be the live action kind of like characters in them. I'm going to see if I can find any of them. If I can. Because I was like a zombie for Far Cry. I was a zombie in Far Cry. So, you can use yourself as a reference is what I'm getting at. So let me see if I can find Picture Plane. Let me see. Here we go. Let me show it to you. So here's Picture Plane. Here's the company I used to work for when I first got out of school, and I still do freelance for them. And they do cover art. So it's 3D, it's characters. We get a lot of characters from different people, and I worked on Skylanders. Jesus Christ! I worked on Galaxy Heroes. It was I think I did Titanfall. Or was that Yinka? Let me see. Hmm. They might have updated it to include their most recent work, but yeah, that's this kind of stuff is very, very possible, with what we're doing right now. All right, this is what I'm trying to get you guys to be able to do. Stuff like this. Do a lot of cool finishing stuff. Like, this is sweet. See, like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, stuff like this. If you're an artist in a studio, you would take this opportunity. Like, you might Photoshop your face here. You might Photoshop your face here. You might put, just little things like that. I'm not telling you guys to go into the industry and start implanting yourselves into these IPs. But if you get an opportunity and the director doesn't mind, the producer doesn't mind, like, we need a background character, use yourself. It's something that does happen in the industry. It's not like, oh, it's like it happens, trust me. So yeah, this is kind of, this is cool. But yeah, we're gonna work on some busts today, and we're going to try to, nail them, and it's important to focus more on efficiency than completion. All right, you want to kind of gesture everything in there. You want to kind of get everything, just start going big with your stuff, going big with the shapes, going big with, so that you start big and then you come down small, right? You want to sculpt the head, don't start with the eyelashes, right? You start with the overall general shape of the skull. You shape the jaw, you add the features, ears, nose, mouth, then you move, push, pull, right? But instead of just talking about it, let's just do it. And I'm going to put 30 minutes on the clock, and I'm going to try to do a quick bust, and then that's what you guys are going to be responsible for. Does anybody have any questions for me at this moment before I get started with the, I want to say not show and tell, but the practical part of the class? Anybody have any questions for me?
Yes. You said it's optional to do our faces, but not required.
What was that?
You said it was optional to do our own faces, but not
No, yeah,
required.
it's not required, but that guy just gave me such a cool idea. Like, if you want to sculpt yourself, then I will not have a problem with it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So let us dive right in. I still can't. Man, I can't believe I lost that one. It usually saves whatever I was working on. I guess it did. Let me see. Quick save. There we go. Maybe it's in quick save. Basketball. As you guys can see, I've worked on a lot of nonsense. There we go. Here he is. Right here.
Professor, I have a question. This is James.
What's up, James? How's it going, man?
Going good. I was wondering, does it have to be like a well-known character, or can it
It can
be
be anything. Anything. Any
like,
character. I just need a face. It just needs to be a face that you can recognize. Like, just a face.
oh, okay, gotcha. Thank you.
No worries. No worries. No worries. All right. So this is what we kind of worked on last night, and this is kind of what I want you guys to achieve. This level of detail is more than enough, right? Like, I didn't even get a chance to sculpt in the ears or anything, but like this level of detail is enough for what you're trying to achieve. You don't want it to be perfect. I didn't go in and put any hair strands or anything. I roughly sculpted the hair. Um, so yeah, this is kind of what you're trying to achieve right here. So let's do a light box again, and I'm gonna Let me do a polysphere Z tool. Go to my subtools here. Do you mind having any questions for me? No? Okay. Cool, cool, cool. All right, let me grab my my pen tablet here. Man, my daughter loves playing on my pen tablet. She loves like coloring in Photoshop and stuff, and it's I didn't realize how much little kids would enjoy it because it's not like crayons and stuff. All right, so let's find a character for me, and we can quickly start with that. All right, and like I said before, I don't want to whoops. Okay, let me pause this. All right, let me go back to our art station. And now let me find one that I can quickly use. This guy is he's got very villainy features. Let me see, maybe I'll find some concept art. Let's find some concept. Interesting. Okay, this Medal of War guy looks pretty interesting. This guy looks pretty sweet. It looks pretty cool. Square jawed. Okay, this guy's pretty sweet. All right, I think I might just do a quick sculpt of this guy. All right. So this is my sheet here. I'm going to pull my reference up here. Ooh. It's all good, it's all good. I just had a little, it's like I spoke her into existence. My daughter just ran in the room. All right, let me see. All right, so we've got our character here. What I'm gonna do is with our character, I'm going to place him on the side so I can see him the whole time. All right. And now we can start with our basic sculpt. All right. So the first thing I do is I brought out my Polysphere 3D. Remember guys, it's the one, right? This one's got the better topology. It's not got the cones or the spirals on it. So now whenever I hit X, when I draw, right, I'm not getting that weirdo, see what I'm talking about? Not getting any of that. I'm just getting nice, clean drags on my topology. All right. So with the face, right, I'm gonna make sure, right, my orientation is facing the right direction. Right here, if you look right there, that's my orientation. Make sure it's facing the right direction. Whoops. Oh, let me make sure no board is turned on so you guys can see what my keyboard strokes are. All right. So now I'm just gonna start pushing and pulling my character's head or his shape, the head shape here. Let me duplicate this. I'm gonna start just pushing and pulling in. to get it in place. All right. So this is my brush. If I X on the keyboard, remember it'll bring up my symmetry mode. Now I have symmetry going on. Now once I start to B, M, and V, that is your move tool. The move tool allows you to grab, right, the polygons wherever you need to, grab them up and pull them. And this is how I usually start. I'm just pushing and pulling shift to smooth it out, right? Push, pull. I'm just trying to get the basic head shape of our samurai ninja warrior character here. All right. So he's got kind of like boom, and he's got quite the squarish jaw, but then his profile, all right? And we start pulling out from the profile. All right, I'm just trying to go big at this point, fast but not too fast, right? Because remember, it's not supposed to be like some, you know, one-for-one description or one-for-one depiction of what I'm looking at. I'm just using him as like a good reference. I can use it as like a, you know, all right, this is where the eyes go. This is kind of eyes I like. This is kind of nose. I'm going to try to imitate this. And these practices will get you to start understanding, oh, this is how this fits together. This looks cool when it's like this. And this time instead, I'm going to control, control, go in the center. Look, all right, I'm going to show you this little cool trick. So I've got my mouse right here. Oh, it's separate, but when I bring them together, they meet at the point and they do the same thing. All right. So when you got symmetry on, you can still paint like so. All right. So now what I'm going to use this for, you guys know, is to pull out the neck. So I'm going to hit control, right? I masked this out. I mask out this little circle for the neck. All right. Control inverts that mask, right? Control has inverted the mask. There's a few ways I can do this. Excuse me for a second. There's a few ways that I can do this. One, I can just start, you know, sculpting it out. Cool, but not very efficient. But if I use my move tool, I hit W. Let me actually show you. I was in draw. I hit W to go to my move tool. But if you want to do it again without hitting the hotkey, it's right up here, right? Remember, it's the same thing. I'm just using hotkeys because they make my workflow a little faster. So whenever I'm going to the move tool, I hit W. Whenever I'm going to the scale tool, I use E. Whenever I'm going to the rotate tool, I use R. And they're all mapped, right? If you look at the top of your keyboard, it's right here. Boom, 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 boom. When I was in class, when I was actually teaching at Richland in person, I would force my students, all right, all the hotkeys I'm doing, I want to hear y'all doing them right now. Just hit the hotkeys, Q, you know, just hit it so that you get familiarized with it, so that when you're using it, it becomes second nature to you. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this. I'm going to use that to pull out my neck. I'm going to pull up like this far. All right. And then all right, and then turn it this way. There we go. Let's go back to our move tool. Now we're facing forward again. All right, just want to pull it down. And then control. I'm going to control, if I control drag a box out, it clears my mask. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to control, actually, all right, I got 24 minutes. What should I do next? All right, I am going to, should I Dynamesh first? Yeah, I will Dynamesh it first because the reason I'm going through this thought process so that you guys can know what I'm thinking. All right, so I've got this mesh right now. I want to continue sculpting on it, but I've got some funky looking geometry on my model right now. Look at this, right? You can see that I've got these bands, these, you know, random long sections of polygon. They're not really evenly squared out, right? I can continue working on this, or I can just quickly hit either the Dynamesh or the ZRemesher to give me some more even cleaner topology to work with. All right, so that's what I always think about in the process. I'm like, all right, do I want to ZRemesh it now or ZRemesh it later? And as you guys can see, I've got cleaner topology just from a basic ZRemesher. I haven't done anything, just a quick ZRemesher. Now I can go back to sculpting, and then I can isolate this, all right, properly. And if you're not getting the right isolation, or you try to like mask something and you're seeing like this black stuff, let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so this is our old, this is the one before I ZRemeshed it. When I try to mask it, you see how the matte, like you see where these polygons and stuff are going? That's not good. It's not what you want, all right? So you want it to have good topology, so that whenever you're modeling it, all right, you see that? All I gotta do is smooth this out a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And I've got something decent, all right? So now let me, boom, boom. All right, so right now I'm using the square mask, but I want a mask that goes like boop, boop, boop. All right, and you can change that using your depending on what you're doing, drag it, spray it, right? Oops. Control, right? Control. Now I've got kind of what I'm looking for. All right. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scale this guy, just this bottom piece a little bit. Back to draw. And I'm just going to smooth this guy back out. Smooth a little bit. Smooth, smooth, smooth. Smooth, smooth, smooth. All right. And now I'm just going to start roughening some quick features. I got 20 minutes. All right. So now what I'm going to try to do is just let's start it up. All right. This is when your anatomy practice is going to start coming into practice. All right. The better you know anatomy, the better these phases are going to go for you. And if you don't know anatomy, that's okay. You don't have to know it 100%, because there's study materials, there's books, there's references. You don't have to be an expert on anatomy. You just have to know where to find the information that you need. All right. So now I'm just going to try to start roughing stuff in. All right. All right, I know that there's this muscle that comes from behind the ear, right? And it usually gives us that, boom, 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 right there. Smooth. All right. Smooth it out. And now let's start working on some of our facial features. All right. So we got so far. All right. Another thing I want to just kind of go B, M, V. All right. That's our move tool again. I'm just gonna kind of flatten out. There we go. That's why this is why you gotta continuously be rotating your model. All right, just so you're seeing what it's looking like from every angle, every possible angle you have looked at, you have moved it around. BCB. Oh, BCB is the Clay Buildup brush. It should be the Clay Buildup brush. BCB. Thank you. All right. BCB is the Clay Buildup brush, right? So now I can build up a little bit right here. Shift, smooth it back down. All right. And our guy has some pretty gnarly cheekbones, so I can throw those in to help me as a kind of a marker. All right. It's kind of a marker for, hey, this is his cheekbone. This will be his kind of nasal cavity right here. The orange mouth shape. When I say orange, I mean it's kind of like an orange, right? Put the orange mouth shape there. And then I can kind of hollow out where I think the eyes are going to go. All right, just like that. Look at this, perfect, done. All right, turn it in. No, obviously not. We've still got 17 minutes. And with that 17 minutes, I can use that time to kind of start bringing in some shapes. And you guys see, I haven't gone up in subdivision level at all, right? I haven't gone up in subdivision. The subdivision I'm still using is the same. The reason is I want to get this thing as far to where I want it to as possible before I go on to another level, because it gets so much harder to work on a model that has a lot of subdivisions. And that's what people don't realize is the lower it is, the simpler it is to work with this geo. Maybe there'll be a day when it feels the same, but right now working with less is way more, way more. So I'm just gonna hollow this out a lot more. His eyes are kind of far apart, but he's got very stylized features. I kind of like it a lot. So I'm just, going through. You see how I'm roughing in the shapes. They look mad janky right now, but that's okay, right? It's a process, all right? So let me add this orange mouth shape right here under the nose. Got 16 minutes. All right, I gotta go. All right, BDS is the DamStandard tool. All right, and this allows you to cut into the mesh, right? So with this, I can make different kind of cuts. So like, look, like boom, like you see how it defines that cut just a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Let me shift, smooth it out, right? If I want to accentuate this cut right here, boom, the DamStandard does a really good job at doing that, right? And that's what I use it for. If I need to make a deep cut into something, that's what I'm gonna grab that DamStandard for, right? So now I've kind of got a mouth shape, my eyes. So now let me add some more features. All right, here are the ears. All right, his ears aren't that big, so, right? Usually your ears, right? These are common markers for you guys, all right? The ears, for most people, usually encompass between the top of the brow and the bottom of the nose, right? This is something that it might take you a little time to learn, but once you start learning these little things, right? How far is the eye distance apart? How far is the nose apart, right? These things will help you. These little tricks of the trade will help you guys become better modelers. So now BCB, I've isolated the ear shape. Remember guys, I showed you a few ways to do this. Once we can move, all right? We can move them out. Oops. Like so. And then pull them back. Just pull them back a little bit. Okay. And now, as you guys can see, once again, our geo is mad funky. All right. So this next step, I'm going to think, all right, is there any other pieces that I really want to add or, extract before I go on to the next level? I don't know. But BMV. I'm going to use this again to kind of move some of these shapes out. All right, I'm going to do a little more kind of with the move tool, shift, smooth it out. All right. I'm going to use this. I'm going to probably move this mouth shape out a little bit more. Move his cheekbones a little bit further out like so. All right. And then move his mouth shape, because his bottom lip and his top lip are kind of close together. So I'm just going to move it up a little bit, right? And remember, I'm doing this just to kind of, you know, give myself the same feel of the character, but I'm not using it 100%, right? If my job was to do that, I'd be matching it like 100%, like but this is just so I'm practicing, I'm studying those kind of shapes. I'm studying the way the nose fits together and how, because this guy's kind of stylized, so some of the rules that apply to regular characters don't apply to him. Most of them do, but some of them don't, and you have to be kind of cognizant of that. All right. So we've got our little sculpt here, and I've got 12 minutes. All right, what can I do in 12 minutes with our sculpt? All right, I'm gonna ZRemesh it. All right, look at our wireframe now. You see, I've pulled it. You know what I'm saying? I'm stretching this geo out so much. I'm pushing it to its limits. Right? I'm trying to break it at every level before I go to the next level. I'm trying to push it so far on this stage that I don't have to do much by the next stage. All right. So maybe what I'll do now is with the eyes. I'm gonna move his eyes because he's kind of got like it's not sad eyes, but like very, very determined. He's got a very determined kind of scowl to him, and I want to represent that. I like that expression that he's got going. All right, remember, right? Let me show you my reference once again, just so you guys know what I'm, my reference kind of this guy. All right. So now let's ZRemesh again. That's actually a horrible ZRemesh. So what I'm going to do is I might just go around. Okay, and the reason I said it's a horrible ZRemesh is it's adding, because, I can say it's a horrible Z, but if I don't explain it, you guys won't understand. It's horrible because it's giving me hard edges where I don't want hard edges, right? So if these are hard, I don't want them. So I'm going to go back, maybe pull these out a little bit. Actually, his top lip kind of goes like so. And then the bottom lip fits perfectly right into it. And you guys can see, I'm literally moving one polygon at a time, right? One poly at a time. And I can isolate different areas that I need to, right, to get the result that I want. All right. So now maybe I add, instead of 100 smooth, I'm gonna shift. Let's go to 2. All right. Just relax it a little bit. Just want to relax it just a little bit. Just gonna move the nose just a bit up like so, and move the tendrils. Boom. All right, I'm just modeling by pushing and pulling. All right, so now let's ZRemesh again. All right, much better. Much better ZRemesh. already have another polysphere in here. I'm gonna duplicate it actually. We'll go this one. And then remember, W, move, E, scale. Right? Even though they all do the same thing, right? I'll keep it on one. I'm just gonna make this into the eye socket. All right? Boom, like so. Boom, like so. All right? Maybe even scale it up a little bit to fit. I'm gonna go to the side, all right, and look at where it's kind of located. And that's pretty good. All right. You guys remember the tool I showed you? Sorry about that. Let's turn off. Let's go to draw. Our Z plugin and our not transpose master, subtool master. We're gonna mirror this bad boy. All right. Boom. Hit the mirror on the x-axis. Hit OK. We've got our eyeballs in place. All right. Sometimes what I like to do to the eyeball whenever I get them is, you know, hey. BCP. It's kind of flattened. I just kind of flatten this out a little bit. It's usually not so bad. BFA should be flattened. Just gonna flatten it a little bit and call it a day. All right, so Alt. I'm gonna now select this guy. Now I'm just gonna start pulling some of these guys. BMV is the move tool, remember. All right, so now I'm just gonna start pulling some of these features, right, to kind of encompass our eyes. All right, reduce the size. These brackets increase and reduce the size of our brush. All right, so if you want to increase the size of your brush, brackets. If you want to reduce them, brackets. All right, BCB. Okay. All right, and as you guys can see, what I'm doing is pushing, pulling, smoothing. I'm not using more than 3 or 4 tools at a time. BFA. Just kind of flatten this out a little bit. Do the same here. BCP. BCB again. I'm just going to start adding a little more to the furrow of this brow a little bit, make it a little more full. And start okay, BMV again, once again. Just gonna move. Nope, nope, nope. I want it to go. I want this piece to kind of go up. Let's go up. Up like so, right? Keep going up, and then I'll have this bottom part kind of meet it. All right? Giving him his signature kind of scowl. There you go. Furrow that brow. Samurai. Alright. So, his nose is actually BCB. Reduce this size. Boom, boom, boom. Just going to add a little more fullness right there. Shift to smooth it. I'm going to turn over to the side a little bit. Alright. Put that on the nose. And then, alright, BDS. Remember, DamStandard. And then, boom, like so. I'm carving into that. Right there, like so. Alright, he's got a little more. And this guy doesn't have like crazy detail to him in the sense of like, because it's a concept art, you're not going to see like skin pores. You're not going to see, you know, a lot of wrinkles and stuff. You might get some scarring or, you know, but yeah. BPO. Let's pause this guy up a little bit. Now BPL. Whoops. All right, BCB. All right. Now let me actually BMV. I'm gonna move this ear around a little bit. Move this guy. What you guys will realize about this stuff is practice makes perfect, right? This is just a tool. What makes people good at it is how much they've studied anatomy, right? And that's why I keep telling you guys, it's so much easier to take somebody who's traditionally trained in like fine art, 2D drawing, you know, sometimes even graphic design, because you need a lot of those principles to be able to do this well, you know. So lobe action, and I'm roughing it in, right? You guys can see it's super rough. These are supposed to be learning exercises for you guys. Super rough. All right, and now I'm just gonna, let's do another ZBrush. I got 16 seconds before pencils down. Let me divide one more time. BMV, we're gonna do this. Boom. And just like that, my time is done. What time is it now? 12:52. That's not bad. I mean, I'd fire me, but it's not bad. I'm joking, by the way. All right. And then with this, I know I'm a little over time, so I'm just gonna, you know, I can boop, 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 start making more angular cuts into them and stuff, and all right? So something like this, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, right? You're just kind of learning, right? So I want you guys to kind of do something like this for your for today's class, right? Take an hour, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, time yourself, and then see what you do. The reason is when you do this 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, you're gonna see how much faster you are at getting some of those features in it. Put it, those kind of things will definitely make you a faster 3D artist in general. So, guys, don't neglect it. Does anybody have any questions for me? No questions? From my eager, bright minds?
So we're just turning this in like today on our channels.
Yeah. Whenever you're done with them, just post them in your channels, and then I'll come around and give you some critique. We'll talk, see what you guys are doing. Kudos, work on this, little things like that. So that's what we
As long as it gets as long as it gets done today, or is there a specific time you would prefer?
No, as long as it gets done today, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. As long
Okay,
as I
thank you.
have something to either critique tomorrow, you guys should be fine. If it's not done tomorrow, it's not the end of the world. You can, I'll still grade it on Thursday, but you won't get as many points as you would have if it's done today and on time. So that's the only difference.
Professor, this is James. What was that last part you kind of cut out there?
Last part. Oh,
Yes.
Oh, I said that you can turn it in either tomorrow or Thursday. Thursday you won't get as many points as you would if you turned it in today. Does that make any sense?
Yes, and this is for the bust.
Yeah, just the bust. You take 30 minutes to an hour. You sculpt something. You see how it looks. I'm just gonna kind of get my.
Okay, and does it have to be human or no?
It doesn't have to be human. Well, for this exercise, let's try to make it human so I can give you human critique. If it's an alien or something, I don't know. You could be talking about the anatomy. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? So for this one, let's make it a human. Let's make it some sort of humanoid character. And yeah, that's what we will do. Increase this. I'm just gonna probably add little crappy hairs and stuff that I saw so there's something. Oh man, I want to. Okay, I don't know if I should show you guys this yet. Should I show it? Are you guys ready? Yes. Fuck it. All right. So, there's something called this it's a fiber mesh in here that allows you to do very interesting things with hair. Probably, I wouldn't use it for these because, like I said before, guys, these are supposed to be like gestural sculpts, right? They're not supposed to be perfect. They're not supposed to have individual strands of hair. Like, you're doing it in an hour. If you have the time to put strands of hair in it, you lost the point. Or you're so good that, you know what I'm saying, like, you can do that. But I doubt any of you are if you're in my class. So, I will show it to you, but this is for, like, the future of what we're going to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So, there's something called Fibermesh. It's pretty cool. Right, this is me just kind of fake designing hair for our character here. And he's got a little tuft right here. A little tuft of hairsies. All right. give him the classic samurai angry brow. All right. So there's something called Fibermesh. It's pretty cool. All right. So with Fibermesh, it's in a bunch of places. It's in your light box, and it's also right here in your tools panel. Your tools panel is also up here, right? So there's a bunch of places that you can find Fibermesh. However you find it, up to you. So if you go to Lightbox, I like Lightbox a little bit better because if I go in Lightbox, I can kind of see an example of what it's gonna look like. All right. So this is gonna be the last part, and I'm gonna release you. I don't want you guys to be here too long. All right. So now I can kind of start messing around and choose these different hairs. So like you can kind of start to play around and see what you'll get, which is very interesting. As you guys can see, and this isn't the end to it either, right? So I've got short and wavy now. Kind of looks like what's that? Afro Samurai, a little bit. Afro. Yeah. So here, if you go into your Fibermesh settings, you can mess with the settings of the Fibermesh, right? You can reduce the amount of fibers it brings out. You can reduce the length profile of it. So I'm just gonna give it like a 0.2. Kind of looks kind of like a gruff, like this guy's he's he's down with the bad things in the world. He knows where all the secrets are kept, the bodies are held. Kind of vibe to him. All right. So that's kind of that's Fibermesh in a nutshell. It's nothing crazy. If I were you, if you were going to use it, like I said, I would not use it for this project just because this is something quick, easy, dirty, get your hands in and sculpting. It's more about the sculpting. This Fibermesh is for future learning, right? So don't put it in this stuff thinking it's going to get you extra anything. It's not going to get you nothing. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much Fibermesh. But with this, I'm not going to use Fibermesh. Like I said, I'm just going to extract this as a mesh, right? This is what you guys should do. Extract it as a mesh. All right. I'm going to accept it because it looks okay. And then it looks like he's wearing a helmet of armor and stuff. And I don't know. You can just go so many directions with ZBrush. It's super cool. So I'm just going to remove my mask, right? And now what I can do is shift. I'm just going to start shift smoothing all this stuff. Shift smooth. 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 Shift to smooth. All right. Kind of got our shifting and smoothing done. Now we can go to BCB, which is our Clay Buildup brush. And now we can kind of start stylizing our hair. All right. So now I'm just going to start kind of doing the styling. So this is what I want you guys to do with your hour. Instead of going Fibermesh, the easy route, right? And I want you guys to kind of sculpt the hair. This is how we used to do it back in the day. You guys are, and people still sculpt hair. So let me not say back in the day. This is a technique that is still viable today, is how I should have said that. But yeah, depending on the use case, you wanna kind of just draw your own hair strands, draw your own stuffs. Get stuff looking right, I can increase the size a little bit to kind of give me a little bit of variation in my hair strands too, so that I'm not getting one thickness of kind of hair going through this bad boy. Let me make a smaller one. All right. And yeah, you know, if I was gonna go further, I would maybe make the little ponytail holder, sculpt the ponytail. You know, there's a lot of things that could be done, but for our current study, this is perfectly fine. This is more than enough, and this will show me that you guys are practicing those, practicing your shapes, practicing your character work. Yeah, BDS. Actually, BCB. I'm gonna put some bags under his eyes. Make this guy look like he's just knows too much information. Yeah, it's wearing down on him. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy here, he's down with the seedy underbellies. You know, he knows how to get.
Professor, I have another question.
Yeah, ask away, man.
Would this assignment be found on Brightspace, or is it just something that we
No, it's just a class.
just
It's a class thing. It's a class thing. It's not gonna be found on Brightspace.
Okay, gotcha.
At all. This is because, you know, this is our class kind of work.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Does it matter if we choose a character with a mask or a cowl?
Okay, that's interesting. Can I see his face through the mask?
Just the nose and the lower parts of the face.
Then yeah, go ahead.
But you can, like, it has like where the cowl has like eyes.
Okay, send me an image of it, and I'll prove it, or say find a different one.
All right.
Sounds good. Yeah, maybe everybody should do that. Actually, post the at least 2 or 3 references of one you were trying to work on, and then I'll approve it for you, so that you guys aren't running in circles, or you do the wrong thing and you get a bad grade, and you're pissed at it because you tried to follow my direction, and so just post whatever you think you're going to, like, the reference of it, and then I will say cool, yay or nay. Sound good? Cool. All right. So that is pretty much it for the class. Does anybody have any questions for me? And then whenever you're done with whatever progress you have, all right? I didn't do the beard. I know I didn't do this. The BCB. I probably went over like 30 minutes already, but.
Hey, good afternoon. This is Om.
Hello. Good afternoon. How can I help you? Were you just on the phone? I'll take that as a yes. All right. All right. So. Yeah, like I said, whenever you're done with it, I want you to just go ahead and take a screen grab of it and then post it the way I showed you how to post. So we're going to go into our render settings. We're going to click best. All right. This is good enough to post. Right? The reason is, as you guys can see, it added shadows to it. You see that? Boom. I dig that. You want to take it a step further, you would do a BPR render for me. All right. So a BPR render is essentially, you go in here, you go into your BPR render passes. The basic settings are fine for what we're doing. You just hit BPR here, and it'll do a more refined kind of shadow pass for your character. That's perfectly fine too. All right. So now you would just do boom. And then I would go here. So as you guys remember, I told you guys, whenever you render it with the BPR render, it renders all of these passes for you, right? It renders out the shaded pass, the depth pass, the shadow pass, the mask pass. And this, these are all very useful. SSS is subsurface scattering. And if you have a floor so you can cast shadows and stuff, it'll do that as well. And this is ambient occlusion. Ambient occlusion usually refers to the black and white that happens in the crevices and the exteriors of our object. So the darker it is over here, right, that would be AO, and then it would be white on the outside where you see the light. So it just accentuates our character just a little bit more. But to save out our render that we just did, I'm going to hit this composite image, which is a composite of all of those together, right? And I'm going to name it my name, Faye. Who's Faye? Who's Faye? Fatai. Oh yeah. Underscore bust. Underscore 1. And then I'll put the date or whatever. And then it's gonna crop it for you like this. Gonna say, hey, is this cool? This is a cool crop. Oh, you guys can't see it right now. Let me move this. Can I move this over a little bit? Oh, no, I'm moving the screen. Can I? No, let me, I'm going to turn off no board for a second so you guys can see the whole shebang. All right. So no board's gone. Now we're back here. Oh, you guys still can't see it. All right, so there is a button. There's a button right here. Oh, you guys should be able to see it, but the people who are watching it back might not be able to see it. So right here, if you go down right about here, there's a button that says OK. You're gonna hit that OK button, and that OK button is gonna save out your image. And that image you want to bring into Photoshop or whatever it is. Put your name at the bottom of it, right? Like we've been doing for the rest of our assignments, or for the beginning of our assignments. So let me go to like this. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna post a little picture of the reference in the corner. You're gonna post your bust right here, your name, and then work in progress. And that's the assignment for the day. Completed, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Oh. Lemons. All right. Any questions before I set you guys free for the day?
Do we need Photoshop?
It doesn't have to be Photoshop.
Oh, okay then.
There's one called Photopea. It's free. Photopea online is free. It's like Photoshop, but free online.
How you spell it?
I'll post a link to it right now.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah. So, I know some people don't have access to Photoshop, and that's, I always have free alternatives for whatever it is I'm trying to tell you guys to do. I will never ever give you guys something that you guys got to purchase, or, that if you don't need to. All right. So general, here is, thank you for posting the attendance. Here is Photopea online for those who want Photoshop, a free version of it. I have posted a link to it in the chat, in the general chat. I'm gonna post it as well in, where's the freebies?
I had a question.
Ask away.
Is today's assignment separate from the one in Brightspace, the assignment 2 Introduction to ZBrush that's due on Saturday?
Yeah, the one you're supposed to draw. The drawing assignments.
It says, familiarize yourself with the ZBrush interface, create a simple 3D shape using basic sculpting tools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's part of that. It's all encompassing that, yeah. So this one is like, this is the class assignment. That's the, the assignment for the class. if that makes any sense.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so you guys have Photopea, just in case. You got your ZBrush assignment. You've got your, all right, cool. Does anybody have any other questions for me?
I have a question.
Ask away.
Does it also have to include a torso or just the head?
It's just the bust, which is like the head and the neck, right? Like it's right here. If you go like this, you've gone too far, right? So just like right here, because that's a whole different set of anatomy. Like each week, I want to kind of take us through a different part of the body. So this week, it's kind of the head, the face, the eyes, like different features of the head. And then next week, we might go into the upper torso, arms, fingers, things like that. And then lower body. And then we'll do accessories, clothing, and all that stuff. And, I'm just trying to kind of give you guys little bite sizes as you guys go along so that you guys understand all of it. And then you guys can bring it together at the end.
Right, and when is it due again?
This is due Thursday.
At the beginning of class Thursday?
Yeah. Because I'm going to check it tomorrow. If those people who haven't done it or finished it, I'll check it again on Thursday. And then, that's how the class goes.
Alrighty then.
No worries. Any more? These are awesome.
I have a question also.
Mm-hmm.
So, two things. So you want us to submit the torso on our channel on our name,
Not the
but also
torso,
for
the
week
bust.
the head.
Mm-hmm.
But for week 2, should we submit the same object, or should I make another separate object for that?
Oh, you can make another separate object for it. It's just the basic shapes. So you're just making spheres and squares and shit like that. So that's not. It's not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's not the same.
I gotcha. Yeah, that's it. I got it.
All right. So if anybody has questions, you're free to stay. If you are done and you want to go work on your stuff, or you have another class, or you have stuff that you got to do, you're free to bounce. Anybody else can stay in chat. I'll be here till 1:30. If anybody has any questions.
I got a question, Professor.
Ask away.
Are we meeting up tomorrow?
That's a good question. Today we did this. Yeah, if we meet up tomorrow, we'll meet up for like 5-10 minutes so I can look over the stuff that you guys did today, and then I'll dismiss you. It's not going to be like a big lecture class. I'm going to save that till Thursday.
Okay, thank you very much.
No worries.
I have a question as well.
Ask.
If we submit the bust assignment on Thursday, we wouldn't be getting all the points?
Yeah. You're not going to be getting all the points because, it's the class is based on like how soon or how well you return the assignment. If you turn it in on Thursday, you'll get less points. If you turn it in further than that, you'll get more points, but you won't get the most points that you can possibly get for it until it bases out at like a certain point system and stuff like that. So.
Okay, and to get the most points, we submit it today?
Yes.
Okay,
To
got
get the
you.
most
Thank
points,
you.
you just have to submit it before class tomorrow. Before class tomorrow, and you will get the most points for it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
No worries.
You say if you submit today, you get the most points?
Yeah, today or tomorrow. Today and tomorrow give you the same amount of points. Thursday, you get less points. Anytime after that, you get even less points. You'll get points for it because you did the assignment, but you won't get as much as the people who did it on time and turned it in early or turned it in early, right? Which is fair, I think. I think that's like the fair thing to do. Questions from any more good people here? All right, well, if you guys don't have any questions for me, you are free to go enjoy the rest of your day. Have fun, sculpt, learn some 3D, punch a baby. I don't know, whatever you want to do.
Thank you as well.
All right, guys. Have a good rest of your day.